chair recognizes Councilwoman Reynolds Brown, who will present a resolution to the Philadelphia Boys Choir. With Jeffrey Smith, Stefan Stokel, and those accompanying them, please join the Councilwoman at the podium. And we also have Councilman Jones, Councilwoman Gim, Councilman Taubenberger, Councilman O, Councilman Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. President. I first want to publicly say thank you to your Sergeant at Arms team for working so closely and working in an extremely collegial fashion with my staff to allowing us to hear the 100 angelic voices that we'll hear later this morning. In the spirit of music and all of what it means, I believe Richard Daley, former mayor of Chicago, said it best when he said, and I stated, politicians don't bring people together, artists do. For those of us who love the arts, we know that there are only 3 colors. When you think about it, we actually start with 3 colors. There are 10 digits, 5 dance positions, and 7 notes. It is what we do with them that's important. Today, we are honoring and recognizing the Philadelphia Boys Choir and Chorale on the occasion of their 50th anniversary. The Philadelphia Boys Choir and Chorale has captivated audiences around the world, where their musicianship, intelligence, and interpretive abilities for the past 50 years, and has become one of the most successful boys choir in the United States, located right here in Philadelphia.
Whereas the Philadelphia Boys Choir and Chorale has performed for kings and queens and 5 U.S. presidents. Whereas the Philadelphia Boys Choir and Chorale recent tours have allowed its diverse group of Philadelphia boys and men to perform to high accolades in China, Ecuador, Singapore, and Vietnam. And
whereas since its founding in 1968, the Philadelphia Boys Choir and Chorale has proudly represented both the city of Philadelphia and the United States of America, doing many worldwide concert tours around the globe, which has earned them the nickname America's Ambassadors of Songs. Thank you, young men. And whereas as a Grammy-nominated and Emmy award-winning group, the Philadelphia Boys Choir's highly acclaimed performances have earned them some of the most distinguished honors in music. And
I went with them to the China trip, and all I will tell you is we had an interesting time over. Whereas the Philadelphia Boys Choir and Chorale has been led by its artistic director, Jeffrey R. Smith, since 2004. Mr. Smith, who was in the choir as a child and is an accomplished conductor, composer, and musician in his own right, having performed with the Philadelphia Orchestra, New Jersey Symphony, and as a pianist for several theatrical performances both on and off Broadway. Mr. Smith also serves as an assistant conductor and pianist for the Philadelphia Pops. And
whereas the Philadelphia Boys Choir has collaborated with world-renowned orchestras and soloists such as Luciana Pavarotti, the Philadelphia Orchestra, the Philly Pops, Pennsylvania Ballet, Opera Philadelphia, Curtis Institute, as well as the Mendelssohn Club, Big Iron Theater, Vox Amadeus, and the Chamber Orchestra of Philadelphia. And whereas the Philadelphia Boys Choir and Chorale has been featured on television shows such as Good Morning America, Saturday Night Live, The Today Show, and
whereas many choir alumni have become distinguished leaders in the arts and entertainment industry, including Boyz II Men group member Sean Stockman, Broadway composer Ben Pasek, opera singers Justin Hopkins and Lawrence Sazzo, Food Network personality and chef Dave Lieberman, actor James Pierce III, as well as KYW TV's news anchor Yuki Washington, and the Boys Choir's Associate Music Director John Stroud. And
whereas the Philadelphia Boys Choir and Chorale was the first American performing arts group to perform in Cuba after the Cuban Revolution, and it returned to that country in both 2003 and 2017. And whereas the Philadelphia Boys Choir and Chorale has also performed at Carnegie Hall, Lincoln Center, and the Sydney Opera House, and
whereas the Philadelphia Boys Choir and Chorale has performed for kings and queens and 5 U.S. presidents. And whereas the Philadelphia Boys Choir and Chorale recent tours have allowed its diverse group of Philadelphia boys and men to perform to high accolades in China, Ecuador, Singapore, and Vietnam. And
whereas the Philadelphia Boys Choir and Chorale is celebrating 50 years of outstanding achievements in musical excellence, and Philadelphia is proud to be the home to such a world-renowned, groundbreaking group. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Council of the City of Philadelphia that we hereby honor and recognize the Philadelphia Boys Choir and Chorale on the occasion of its 50th anniversary. Congratulations.
And the chair recognizes Mr. Smith for remarks.
We thank you very much, Council President Clark and his office, as well as our own Councilman Squilla and Julian Thompson, Councilwoman Blackwell from our old district when we were back on Powelton Avenue, and of course, Councilwoman Reynolds Brown and her staff for this honor today, as well as all of the councilmen and women up here this morning. Besides this honor, we want to thank all of the council people for their hard work for the city of Philadelphia. Because we know you're here, because you love and care about the people of Philadelphia, as do our boys and men. And so when we go around the world and sing our songs and share our music, besides representing our country, we specifically represent our city. And the boys are proud of that, and they take that seriously. And many of the countries we visit, they don't necessarily speak English, but they understand our message through our music. And they realize that though our countries may have differences, and maybe they're not happy with the way things are going in our own country, they know that the people of America are great people. And they're able to have a higher opinion of Americans than before we visited, because they meet these fine young men and they see that these are good kids and they care about others. And so they're happy to represent us abroad as well as here in Philadelphia. And as a matter of fact, some of the boys take it so seriously that as they get older, they go into major in foreign affairs or political fields. We've got several boys overseas, and maybe someday some of them will be here in City Council. But we thank you very much, and we're going to present, after the photos here, we're going to present one song for you for our city. It's called Philadelphia, USA. Thank you. Okay, great.
Council be at ease. Councilwoman. Ready?